Okay, so we got what time is it? We got 10 minutes. Let's do this thing.
All right,
For the
ready?
people, because I'm sure this is gonna make it into the bloopers. We just recorded the first Quantumania episode, and I'm
Yeah.
just so hyperactive because it was intense for me. I did a lot of the talking. I'm so hyper. Whew. Okay.
All right, ready? Hello, welcome to the Nerdy Wordy Show, where we're going to be doing this in 10 minutes, and that's going to be a record because you know what? We do this in an hour. We're going to do this in 10 minutes.
We got it.
We are your hosts, I am Robert,
I am Billy.
and today is a shortened episode because the last few weeks have been us being so bored that we just have nothing to talk about. We just did a nice long discussion about science, so you know what? Let's do a palate cleanser and talk about nerd stuff.
Mm,
Like Marvel, like the
exactly.
Eternals trailer, the final trailer, as it's called, by Marvel. They just released it. I think it was today, right? Or yesterday? Yesterday, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yesterday. It came out at 3 a.m., which was so weird for me. It's like, wow, this comes out super early. But
Did it come out 3 a.m.?
oh yeah, I got the notifications for it at 3 a.m. I got like the tweet notifications for it, and it's because like it's like midnight on the West Coast, 3 o'clock here. Makes
Yeah.
sense. But it was interesting that they did a trailer that early in the morning, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, we're gonna give our
Were
little
you up at
preliminary
3
thoughts,
in the morning?
huh?
Were you up to see the tweet, or is this like you
Oh
saw
no,
him
I
and
woke up to it. I woke up to the notification on my phone.
okay. I was gonna say, do you ever sleep?
No.
No. Okay.
So we're going to be giving our preliminary thoughts. Well, I'm going to be giving my preliminary thoughts because Billy has no thoughts because he's kind of
I have one thought.
okay. What's your thought?
It looked cool.
A nice subjective statement. It looked cool.
It looked cool, but
Mhm.
from my limited knowledge, um, I'm not reading any other comic books and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and basically being restricted to the MCU and
Mhm.
the TV shows that they have. Uh, I don't really know a lot about them, so I'm gonna be relying on you here.
Yeah. So the trailer for me was really cool because it gave a lot more depth. I know a lot of criticisms of the first trailer was that like it gave us basically nothing. It just gave us nice, beautiful shots and like nice shots of like the cast and everything. But this one gave us an actual plot. Like something happened from Avengers Endgame where there was so much energy from the snap that caused there to be this opening for these beings called the deviants, which we see they're like basically like giant monsters coming out of like the mist or something like that.
Mm,
And they're basically using this energy to go to Earth, to do whatever there is that they're going to do, maybe invade it, whatever, we don't know. We're going to get a little more backstory, I hope, on why they've never interfered, especially since like a catastrophe like Thanos happening was kind of a big catastrophe on Earth. But of course, they say in the trailer that like nothing was going to be interfered with in human affairs unless deviants were involved, which I think is like a very stupid restriction. But whatever, that's their rules.
yeah.
Um,
Can I
I
ask
thought
you a
the
question real
deviant,
quick?
yeah, go ahead.
So they would be a part of um the so in Infinity War with the snap,
Mm-hmm.
statistically speaking, 50% of the Eternals would have had to go away too, right? And then when Tony Stark, or no, it was Hulk who snapped and brought them back,
Mm-hmm.
50% of them would have come back, right? So they should have ostensibly been affected as well by everything. And then the Tony Stark snap, I guess, caused whatever to happen is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're going to be affected by it, I'm surprised that they wouldn't get involved because it's not strictly a human matter. It's a
Right.
everything.
Universal matter.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because they're gods, basically. They're not like extraterrestrials. They're not godlike like Thor. They're like so the Eternals are, I believe, a descendant of what are known as Celestials. And I don't know if you saw in the trailer, but like those giant beings with the eyes,
Hmm.
those are the Celestials. Like there's literally a Celestial that's like holding a galaxy in one shot of the trailer. So they're very powerful
Oh yeah,
godlike beings. So I don't think that the snap would have affected them because of how powerful they are.
I see.
Yeah. But
Okay.
we don't know. Maybe they did get wiped off halfway. Maybe they didn't. We'll have to see in the movie, what
Mhm.
happened during those events.
Yep.
One thing I do find very interesting was like the what's his name? Crap. One of the characters kind of like it resembled Superman a little bit with his heat vision and like his flight and everything. Gilgamesh, that's his name.
What was
Gilgamesh
it?
is Gilgamesh is his name.
Mm.
Um, he very much resembled like the CGI fights with like Superman from like the Warner Brothers movies. I was just like, wow. I hope
Yeah.
they don't get sued for copyright because it looks very eerily similar to what they're doing. But
Copy and paste.
basically, but it's like people actually like this version compared to the Warner Brothers one.
No comment.
um, so I thought that was very interesting.
Mm,
I'm very excited to see this cast. This cast is a very amazing cast. Angelina Jolie, got Selma Hayek, which by the way, Selma Hayek, who is like the central figure. If you see like the shot of like all of them on the hillside, she's the central figure.
mhm,
I think she's Ajax. I'm not sure. I don't know the names in particular, but she's like the mother figure of like the entire team. Basically, she's
mhm,
like the connection between the Eternals, the Celestials, and the Deviants. She's kind of like that middle ground. And I remember seeing an interview from, I think it was Yahoo or the Hollywood Reporter or somewhere, where she was like hesitant of actually coming onto the MCU because she's always been cast as either like the prostitute or the old woman caricature. But when she found out that she's going to be a superhero from the director, she's like, I'm in. So
uh-huh,
I'm like, this is going to be an interesting movie with this entire cast because I think like anytime you get a cast of people who are not really like associated with like superhero films or anything like that, like once they came on, kind of like Owen Wilson, when he came on, it's kind of like a nice little difference in what the Marvel movies are, where it's like not just prototypical people who you would assume to be uh representative as superheroes, like it's
mhm.
different characters, and I think that's going to be a very interesting thing for this movie too.
I agree. I think also putting such big name people, because Marvel
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily like. There's many exceptions because they have so many people in it, but
Right.
um, I think they don't take such like Angelina Jolie is such a big name
Mhm.
person. And it'll be interesting. Because at least for me, with most of the characters, I didn't have like a predetermined like, oh, you're from this kind of thing, you know?
Mhm. Well, I think let's just be honest, they understand that you could get a lot of money from this. So I don't think it's like, oh, let's be in the MCU. It's more like, hey, we can get a good payday out of this
Mhm.
because everybody wants to see superhero films. So let's be in it.
If you got
So
asked to be in a Marvel movie, would you?
yeah, I mean, you're gonna get paid really well, I think.
But would you? Excuse me. I don't know how good you are at acting because I've never seen you act.
Right.
I particularly wouldn't be good. So if I got asked to be put in a Marvel movie, at first I'd be like, yes, superhero, yes, and then I'd be
Mhm.
like, wait a minute, if I stink at this, there's billions of Marvel fans out there that are not gonna like me,
I don't know.
right?
Well, we'd have to know for sure. We'd have to get the data on that one.
Yeah. Ooh, I just picture myself acting. Not good.
So now, Billy, I had teased a couple weeks ago about a big book that I was getting because I had been working at a comic book store and I got some extra money and I was getting some store credit and I was going to get this big book. You ready for
It's
the big book, Billy?
it's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. I think.
Boom. Amazing Spider-Man number 220. It's a nice Moon Knight cover with Spider-Man in the coffin.
Why is it? A, it's a nice cover.
It is a nice cover.
What happens in that story?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
And I think because of
Uh,
like the popularity of Moon Knight, I want to make sure you get all the Moon Knight stuff as possible. And I do like this cover because he's in a coffin. It's a very classic cover. So I was like, gotta
mm.
have it.
So let me ask you, why is
Mhm.
this one so significant?
It's not Billy. I lied. This is not the significant one. I actually
That,
did get that one, but this was not the significant one.
oh,
There's
you
another
got
one
me.
I have.
Okay. What's the significant one? You totally tricked me. I believed you.
I know. I know. The significant
I'm
one
not gonna
is
react now. I'm just gonna be poker face.
Hero for Hire #1. This is the first
Ooh,
appearance and origin of Luke Cage. This one is the
that's the
big
big
one.
one.
That's the big one.
What's on his forehead?
It's like a headband made out of metal.
Okay,
Yeah. So this is the
very
origins
cool.
and first appearance of Luke Cage, the first Black superhero to have his own title in Marvel Comics.
Wow,
So
that is a
before
big
Black
one.
Panther had his own title, before a lot of these other characters like Storm or anybody else had their own titles,
Wow,
he got his own title. So very
that's funny
interesting.
because he's not as big right now. Like he had his own show, but
Yeah.
like Black Panther is a lot bigger.
Hmm.
Storm is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very cool. It's a nice cover too. The yellow.
The
Yellow
yellow
always
and the
pops.
reds. You always know that I like the yellow and the reds with my comic books.
It's pretty good.
Hmm. So
Nice.
yeah, this one has increased in price a lot since the TV show's been out, and there's been speculation that he's gonna reappear in the MCU, kind of like how Daredevil's gonna reappear in the MCU as well. So
Ooh.
there's speculation around there a little bit, but also Luke Cage is a very popular character, so you can't go wrong.
No, it's also a cool cover I think as well.
Hmm.
Like the chain belt as well. You might
Yeah.
start doing that.
So yeah, I fooled you with this one.
You
I got
did
you with this one.
because I know how big of a Spider-Man fan you are. Like you totally fooled me on that.
Yeah. Well, in that case, thank you so much for watching both this episode and the other episode we just recorded. Please
Go watch that.
subscribe down below. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. Please hit the like buttons. Subscribe to our Instagram. We all have an Instagram in the bio as well. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.